Uh, I am Jalaj Kashyap. I am from Muzaffarpur, Bihar. I did my schooling from Muzaffarpur till class 10th. After that, I moved to Bhilai for my 11th and 12th. Then I graduated from NIT Raipur in electrical engineering. Post that, I served in L&T for 2 years as senior engineer in power transmission and distribution segment. My hobbies include singing karaoke songs on popular Bollywood tracks, beatboxing, as well as diary writing.
Tell me something about your family.
Sir, in my family, means I have one sibling, my elder sister. She is working in a multinational firm in Bengaluru. My father is a government servant in Bihar. He is working in the health department of Bihar. And my mother was a school teacher, government school teacher.
Let's start with your hobbies. As you mentioned that your hobby is singing popular Bollywood songs on karaoke. So tell me, what is karaoke?
Sir, karaoke is basically the entire song minus the lead singer's voice. Means in the from the lead singer from the song, the voice of the lead singer is removed and the background music is there, and upon that anyone can sing the song.
When was it invented?
Sir, in 1960s, the first karaoke box was means introduced by in Japan.
And are you sure in 1960s?
The exact year I am not sure. It was patented in 1975, but the first beatbox machine was introduced in Japan by Mr. Dasuke in 1960s.
Darsuke, are you sure you are judging the right?
Yes, sir. As far as I have read, I I
Who
am
invented karaoke?
sir. The karaoke means first time Mr. Dasuke only invented the karaoke box, but it was first patented by a Philippine person. His name I am not able to recollect right now, sir.
Or it was Robert Del Cenero?
Sir, I think he has patented the karaoke in his name in 1975, but the first karaoke box was invented earlier.
Okay. And what is beatboxing? As you mentioned, your hobby as well.
Yes. Sir, beatboxing is basically emulating the percussive instrument by using one's means voice with the larynx and the tongue with the use of tongue.
Okay. And beatboxing's origin?
Sir, beatboxing was means started in US. It is part of the pop culture there. Basically, it was introduced in the suburban areas where people were not able to afford the musical instruments. So means they were beatboxing and some other people were singing the song.
Can you tell me the inventor?
Sir, exact inventor is not means is not known for beatboxing, but Mr. Robert Douglas is there. He self-proclaimed himself as the inventor of beatboxing, but it is not officially recorded.
Tell me three names of Indian beatboxing.
Sir, Mr. Vineet Vincent is there. His name is also there in green in Limca Book of Record for the largest ensemble of beatboxers. The second name is Mr. Ardhra, Miss Ardhra from Trivandrum, and she is the first female beatboxer from India who got the global recognition. The third is Mr. Divyansh. He has also performed with means various Indian singers, namely with Sundhi Chauhan and Beni Dayal also.
You have mentioned Limca Book of Records. See, who manages it?
Sir, sorry, sir, I am not aware about that. I will read about that.
Who manages Guinness Book of Records?
Sorry, sir, I don't know.
Okay. Tell me functions of EPFO.
Sir, the EPFO is a premier social security provider in India. Its main function is to provide the provident fund in organized sector for people whose salary is below 15,000. Apart from that, it also runs the employee pension scheme as well as the insurance, as well as the deposit linked insurance scheme.
Okay. And how much interest rate it provides to the investors?
Right now, it provides 8.1% interest rate.
And where does it invest the money?
Sir, mostly it invests in the government security, and
How
it
much
also,
percentage?
sir, there is some limitation on it. Approximately 40, means maximum limit is 45% for government security. And apart from that, it also invests in securities for which the limitation is 15%, which is now in talks to increase the equity investment to 20%. And so these are the main areas where EPFO
Can you
invests.
elaborate percentage-wise investment of EPFO?
Sir, exactly, means these two are the major investments. Apart from that, in exchange traded fund also invest. But the exact percentage of the small investment, I am not able to.
What is the main difference between enforcement officer and accounts officer?
Sir, the enforcement officer is mainly a field duty. His main role is doing inspection whether the provisions of EPF and MP Act are properly implemented in an industry or not. The main function of the AO, on the other hand, is office job. His main function is claim settlement with respect to the PF or the pension. Also, the AO manages the accounts of EPFO, and the EO has the duty to report back if any anomaly is found in any organization.
Okay, tell me a situational thing. Let's say a person comes to you and he says that in a different scheme, he or she is getting around 10% annual interest or annual return, and EPFO is giving 8.1%. So, what will you suggest that the person should do?
If means it will depend upon the basic income level of that person. If that person is not so much economically capable, then I will suggest him that EPF returns are, although means less than the return that he is getting in some other scheme, but it is stable, because due to that is the main reason why still the bond
Other
investment.
scheme is also a government scheme and it is also stable.
Sir, in government schemes, I think that the EPFO gives the one of the highest percentage of return in India.
Okay, no other scheme is giving such type of you can say that return.
No other social security scheme that I can recall right now.
Okay. Uh, are you preparing for some other examinations as well?
Yes, sir. I was preparing for civil services.
Okay. And what was your optional?
My optional is sociology.
Sociology. Uh, Tell me, what changes would you bring if you are selected as account officer in the accounting section of EPFO?
Sir, means I will try to merge the accounting department of PPFO with the digital advancements that are going around the world, and I will.
Do you have that authority?
Yes, sir.
Do you have that authority?
Sir, I can suggest to my superiors with respect to that, and with respect to my authority, I will try to have means do the claim settlement as soon as possible, especially if it is related to some insurance scheme where the death of a person has happened and it is required on the urgent basis. Apart from that, I will try to ensure that the accounts are maintained properly.
Okay. So, so
Jalaj, you can you elaborate on your work experience? You are still working in L&T or you are just preparing for UPSC now?
I worked in L&T for 2 years and I left the job in 2018.
Okay, can you explain me the nature of job?
Sir, I was posted in L&T headquarters in operations. My main job responsibilities include the timely purchase as well as the dispatch of material as per the L2 schedule that was provided to us by the client. And also, I had to see that inspection is happening on a proper and scheduled basis, and the installation of the devices was done on the site in a proper manner. Then, if any emergency situation happened during the dispatch as well as the till the material reached the site. I was the concerning authority to deal with that.
Jalaj, I can see a similarity between your function, your department, and one department in Government of India also that specifically deals with the procurement of various equipments for various departments or industries. Can you elaborate on that? That you do you aware about this initiative of government where they have a portal for this purpose?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall it right now.
So, to help you out here, government has an initiative with respect to a portal where they provide a facility to each and every department, not only the center but state also, that where they can put their demand with respect to computers, with respect to any technical gadgets or anything, which can be directly procured in bulk. That is e-marketplace. Can you recall it now?
Yes, sir, I have heard it. I read about it also, but I'm not able to
You
exact
are not
number.
aware about it. So, you were posted in Delhi itself?
No, sir, I was
Chennai.
posted in
Okay. And otherwise, you belong to Muzaffarpur.
Bihar.
Okay. Can you differentiate between the culture in Bihar or specifically Muzaffarpur and of Chennai?
Sir, first of all, there is a difference with respect to the language. In Bihar, the primary language that is spoken by people is Hindi or Mathili, and in south part of Bihar, it is Bhojpuri. And in Chennai, they generally prefer speaking in Tamil as well as English. The second thing is with respect to the clothing. In Chennai especially, there is a trend to wear dhoti in formal spaces also, like in our office also several people used to wear that, but it is not present in Bihar. The third difference is with respect to the festivals that are prominent in those places. At Bihar, Muzaffarpur, there the Chhat Puja is of the tremendous importance, while in south the Diwali as well as Pongal, those festivals are more significantly celebrated.
Okay. Jalaj, you mentioned about dhoti in the office. Don't you think it is an inappropriate dressing for an office space?
Sir, I think it depends upon the culture of the organization. If it is situated at a place, I think it preserves their culture, as well as if the dhoti is properly worn by a person, it looks formal on them, and I have not seen that it has interfered in the formal execution of any work in the organization.
Okay, Jalaj, see, you were associated with such a good institution which has a very good repute also. Tell me why you left this job.
Sir, since my graduation time, I had the basic urge to prepare for civil services. So for that, I needed the financial backup, and I also wanted to see how my electrical knowledge is being implemented in the practical space to have a sense of how an organization functions. So for that purpose, I joined LNT, and after 2 years, I left and came here for the civil services profession.
Okay, so one more question here. Can you elaborate how your work experience could help you as your role in enforcement officer?
Sir, I was posted in construction sector. It's a very unique sector in itself because there are informal workers in a formal setup. So I can understand their problems better, and I can see where the loopholes exist, how contractors sometimes exploit them even when their salary is more what problems they face. And since I'm acquainted with the general nature of how the organization functions, and with the machines also, so I think while inspection it will help me a lot. And since I was in operations, so my basic duty, the nature of my duty, helped me in having interaction with various departments of the LNT, like accounts, as well as the supply chain management. So I think that will help me a lot while visiting any industry or maintaining
Okay,
it.
then tell me what kind of problems an employer face while providing social security to its employees?
Especially if a employer is in MSME sector, or if it is a new type of organization, then it is actually a financial burden for them if their profit is not up to the mark. This is the first thing. The second thing is many of the small organizations have migrant workers, whose job is not of permanent nature. So so providing them social security and having their investment in a particular scheme becomes difficult for the employer. These are some of the.
All right.
Jalaj, a while ago you were talking about whether if you are posted as an accounts officer, what you will do is you will try to, squeeze the duration of claim settlement, right? What is exactly is the service agreement today with
Sir,
respect to the claim settlement?
sir, it was reduced to 3 days, means post the COVID period.
Post the COVID period. And is there a claim settlement provision for in case of a pandemic?
Yes, sir. Sir, with respect to pandemic, means I am not very sure, but if it is of emergency nature, then the claim settlement has to be done within 1 day. If it is for insurance and it is related to the death of a worker.
Form number 31 of EPFO deals with which kind of claim settlement?
Sorry, sir. That aspect.
Form 19.
Sorry, sir. I'm not.
Jalaj, what is the vision of EPFO as an organization? Can you tell me the exact vision statement?
Sir, the vision of EPFO is to provide the social security of the world class social security to its subscribers. The second thing is that I read on the EPFO website is they want to reduce their claim settlement time. So this is the vision of EPFO.
They specifically use a terminology. They say we want to have nirbadh services. What is the meaning of this word?
Sir, nirbadh in Hindi means uninterrupted. In English means uninterrupted. So they want that for getting a claim, a person should not run pillar to post. There should be minimum interference and minimum number of steps to get his claim.
Jalaj, as you mentioned, I can see it in your resume as well. You mentioned that you were working in the supply chain department, right?
Sir, I was in purchase department. I dealt with supply chain department.
Okay, so your department was purchase.
Purchasing operations.
Purchasing. And can you tell me about some of the important metrics on which supply chain works as a unit? So purchase, I'm saying that purchase also is a part of supply chain itself, right? So there are a lot of targets which are looked at. What are those metrics which are very important as far as supply chain is concerned?
Sir, some of the metrics that I can observe while working was the cost factor. Means the equipment should be purchased at the lowest cost possible. The second important aspect was it should conform to the technical specification that are given by the client. The third thing is the delivery period should be as per the schedule that is provided by the client. And the fourth thing is with respect to the warranty as well as the repair service what they provide.
So the kind of equipment that you used to purchase, were they locally purchased, procured, or they were procured from out of India as well?
Some of the equipment like lightning arrestor, some of our vendors were situated in Beijing also, and but most of the equipments we were purchasing from India itself.
Jalaj, it seems like you were on a very good trajectory, as like your resume suggests or your DAP suggests that you've done your graduation in electrical engineering, and again from a good institution, and then you were also working in a very good company. What is pushing you towards a government sector? And don't you think it is your entire trajectory of your career is pointing towards something different, and now you are planning to do something different? And don't you think that this position that you are now fighting for, someone else deserves this more than you?
Sir, I think that means working in a social service sector was always my aspiration. I got into Yes, sir. Sir, I got into this private sector, but one thing I observed that it is a very specialized type of work in a private sector organization, and the interaction with people is there, but it is not as much as when we are dealing with the especially the public service departments like with the civil service or be it EPFO. So that was one, and it is also more diverse. So
I agree, Jalaj, I agree, but your choice of career does not suggest that you always wanted to work in the social sector. That is what my point is.
Sir, I always wanted to work in this sector. I did my graduation in electrical engineering because in my 12th I was more inclined to science subject. And in with the upcoming era, the technology is going to play a major part in every sector. So I think means my career is also in line with the aspirations that I have right now.
See, Jalaj, I am very much agree with sir that we should give this opportunity to some other candidate, specifically given the thing that you are of a very bright mind, if I put in that way, that you could easily make a good career, specifically in the engineering side, given your work experience also. And you mentioned about the specialization of job also. So if I see from that dimension, then you are not that prepared, or you don't have that kind of understanding which we require as an enforcement officer, because if we talk in the sense of specialization, then the suitable person for this job is the person who has either accounts background or has a background in law. So don't you think those candidates will be more suitable for this job than you?
Sir, I think that I have the required aptitude to perform my job up to the requirement or that is being expected. And with respect to specialization, I was trying to make a point that in general, the private sectors are more specialized in nature. And why I moved to civil services was that it will give me a diverse opportunity. Like I was simultaneously preparing for civil services as well as state PCS as well as other means EPFO also
So
in
you are saying that you have a wider knowledge base. You also mentioned that technology is going to drive the governance since from now on. So tell me what kind of a e-governance initiative EPFO has taken till now, specifically during the lockdown period and after that.
Sir, in the lockdown period, the EPFO switched to the virtual courts for dispute settlement. And the second thing is it in e-Shram portal, it ensured that the unorganized workers were also registered. Apart from that, there is a portal in Umang portal where people can avail the EPFO service all at a single place. So these are some of the e-governance initiatives that EPFO has.
All right, very good, Jalaj. One more question here, my last question. Recently, Government of India has come with a notification with respect to GST, where more of the products has been included in the GST preview now, specifically the unbranded food grains.
Yes.
So, will it lead to demand pull inflation or supply push inflation?
Sir, it will lead to means sir, with respect to inflation, sir, can I think for a minute?
Yes, of course.
Sir, it will lead to demand pull inflation in my sense, because the generally the tax is away is put on only the packaged food items. It is not means implied on the loose the food grain items that are sold loose. So the demand from the upper section of society will create the inflation in this case.
All right. Thank you so much, Jalaj.
Thank you, sir.